Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego.
My name is Joey,
My name is James.
and this is the Brothers Padre.
And in this special episode, Joey and I are going to get mad.
I think every one of our episodes is special, but this is extra special.
This is definitely extra special because the MVP was announced today. And because writers are, sports writers are what's a polite word to say? Entitled elitist snobs.
Also old.
Also old, entitled, elitist, East Coast snobs.
Yep.
Manny Machado lost to Paul Goldschmidt. Manny Machado came in second, but he should have been first.
Yep.
And I know we're a Padre podcast. We're supposed to say that, but it's true. If Manny Machado was on the Padres, the Padres would not have made it to the playoffs. If Goldschmidt was not in the Cardinals would probably still make it to the playoffs. That has everything to do with the NL Central is a terrible division, and a team that can string together 4 wins in a row can probably win that division. Where the NL West is a really hard-fought division, and the Padres only stayed in it because we had Manny Machado.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yes, we are a Padre podcast, obviously. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, it's very evident to me that in general, these awards, you hope that every writer looks into the depth and breadth of the story of the person they're voting for and the story behind a team, especially the MVP. And obviously it didn't happen because I like Paul Goldschmidt. I think you do too. He's a very good player. We watched a lot of him when he was a Diamondback. I didn't like facing him, but he's a very good player. This is his first MVP, so congratulations, Paul Goldschmidt. But I think that, like you said, he had played in a bad division. He had Arenado, who was also top 3 MVP vote, batting behind him. And he just didn't have, what Machado had, which is that he literally carried the team. We're going to mention it later. Might as well mention it now. Our hitting coach Michael Berter is now moving on to the Tigers, and honestly, that's I'm not broken up about it because our hitting was terrible unless you're Manny Machado.
Yeah,
Hit consistently. He's the best hitter on our team, best fielder, and he's the reason why we made the playoffs. And in a division that featured the Dodgers in the regular season, who were monsters.
the Giants have always been tough.
Yeah.
We play several games in Colorado every year.
Yep. To me, it's. I mean, this Baseball Writers Association, they put out the which writer voted for what. Kevin Acee, Dennis Lin, of course, voted for Machado, number 1 as their MVP. But the people that voted against him were all people that were either from the Midwest to the East Coast. And I'm not saying that they have a bias.
I am.
But I will say that, it does seem odd that the guy that leads all of the National League and Fangraphs war and who brought a team that was rife with landmines that would destroy the culture of most other teams and get them to a playoff position. That's such a storyline of itself. It's just Bob Melvin and Manny Machado brought this team to the playoffs and to the LCS. And the writers didn't take time to notice, like, hey, Tatis was gone. Profar was gone for 10 days. Drury was gone for 10 days. Melvin was gone for 20 days. And who wasn't gone? Manny Machado. He, had broke his ankle. His ankle left time and space before us. We all saw it. It somehow came back, and he played through it.
He willed the pain away.
And it's annoying because we watch it every day, and it's just and he so obviously deserved it more, and it's just tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, and I wish that he got the MVP because I think he deserves it, and I'm just bummed about it. I'm just bummed for Manny because he worked his butt off, and he did it all for the team, and I think he would say he's most proud of no award, but helping the team go as far as they could, as they did rather. But I just wish he got hardware.
And for those of you that don't think there's a bias, every year Major League Baseball awards something called the Silver Slugger Award, which is who is the best hitter in your division and your position in your league.
Yeah.
Manny Machado didn't win the Silver Slugger this year. You know what offense categories he led Aaron Arenado in, who did win it? All of them, except for RBIs. Arenado had 103 RBIs. Manny Machado had 102. Manny Machado had 4 points higher in batting average. He had 7 points higher in OPS plus. He had 2 more home runs. He had a better. Every stat. He led Arenado in. He had a better on-base percentage, everything. But no, for some reason they gave Aaron Arenado the Silver Slugger. If that is not some sort of extreme biased bigotry, I
some
think
would say racism. I would never say it.
I would never say it either.
But some would say it.
But some would. And you know what? Honestly, yes, Manny Machado made mistakes as a younger player. We all know it. But you know who's turned a corner the last 5 years? Manny frickin' Machado.
Yeah.
And honestly, how good a player was Dustin Pedroia anyways?
Oh, deep cut. Literally deep cut.
Look it up, children. Anyways, but don't tell your parents we told you to look it up. It's a pretty nasty accident. Anyways, like I said, it's so unbelievably frustrating because honestly, we knew MVP was gonna, from June onward, Goldschmidt was leading all the MVP talk. So we knew that was going to be a tough one. The fact that he lost out in the Silver Slugger, I know it's not considered a really big award, but he led Aaron Arenado on in every category except for RBIs, where he had one more than Machado. That's not. No.
Yeah.
No. That's so unbelievably biased and upsetting. Oh my goodness. We told you in the beginning of this podcast we're upset.
I would. I think that I think what we should do as a baseball society, which we are a part of, we're a deep part of it, very influential.
Everyone knows this.
I think we just get rid of writers' input. Like, you win the Silver Slugger, how? You have to win your slugging percentage plus your batting average, or something has to be the best. OPS plus has to be best. Not like there's a way to make this very objective.
Well, let's call sports writers what they are. They're sports critics.
Yeah.
All
sure.
right?
Right.
And you know that old saying, those who can't do, teach.
Yeah.
And those who can't teach become critics. So you have to...
That's how the saying goes?
That's how the saying goes. You have to fail twice in life to become a critic.
That's not...
That's totally a thing. So we need to stop listening to these double life losers.
Oh, yeah.
They're not in charge. It's so ridiculous. Especially with something that's supposed to be completely stat-driven,
right,
like the Silver Slugger.
Yeah.
Unbelievably that they still had to vote on that. No, you should just look at the stats. Oh, look.
Right.
And if they're really comparable, like they're almost identical, then maybe you can get into the nitty gritty. But no, Machado is flat out, and he also had less errors than Aaron Arenado did in third base. He didn't win the Gold Glove either. This is so upsetting.
Some would say. I wouldn't say it. Some would say.
Some would say. it's that word, yes. But again, they have to fail twice in life to become critics. Why are we listening to these people? Their input means nothing.
I learned so much about critics in that rant. I really wanted this for him because, you know, I was looking back on this season and there were some dog days, some doggy dog days. It was not, that weren't pretty. And it was just Machado who let it through. And you know, and he got to the LC. I know you're not supposed to vote on MVP based on playoffs, but, you know, he brought the team to league championship series. Like,
how many times this last year, and fans who listen to the podcast know we said this a lot, we won this game because Manny Machado hit. Right. Manny Machado was the only one to hit today. Throughout the year, it was, Manny Machado showed up. The only reason why we won this series is because Manny Machado showed up. It's completely ridiculous. It's just terrible, and it's upsetting. And I just gotta say, and yes, I wanted this win too, because we didn't make the World Series, but we had the MVP in our team.
Yep.
But at the very least, he should have won the Silver Slugger. And if Aaron Arenado was half a man that Manny Machado was, he would refuse that Silver Slugger and give it to Manny Machado. But we know he wouldn't.
I had this image of like this very dramatic image of Arenado like coming on stage and be like, "This is not for me." He points to the crowd and Machado's there. just gives it to him. How awesome would that be?
What was that? There was a famous something award show where Tim Raines won an acting award, and it got up there and went, I don't deserve this. Jack Lemmon, get up here. Wow. And he pointed at Jack Lemmon, who was like 85 years old, who was also nominated. He was like, "What? Get up here! I'm giving you my award." And Jack Lemmon, what? They like show up there like that's what Aaron Arenado should do.
Yeah.
But we know he's not an honorable man, so he won't.
I'm really glad you brought Jack Lemmon reference in our podcast. Really keeping the kids young here today.
Hey, any kid out there, when you're old enough, watch Some Like It Hot. And don't tell me it's not a funny movie. Yeah. The Apartment, one of the best comedies of all time. Not to mention 12 Angry Men. The man's done a lot in his career. To deserve.
How old do you think those movies are?
What was that?
How old do you think that movie is?
They're older than I am.
By twice. It's like 80 years ago.
You know what, Joey? I seem to remember going to several film classes.
Yeah.
With a really obnoxious little kid that went with me that watched the same film classes, and we both enjoyed them.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're not enjoyable.
That was Joey, by the way. Joey and I attended the same film class.
I'm just saying you're not very hip to the skip. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's just say if you had TikTok, wouldn't get that many views.
TikTok?
Yeah. Like, you know, the social media app. If you had a TikTok, you really are old.
I don't know what that is.
You know what TikTok is?
I do know what it is, Joey. Okay. I'm just perpetuating. Sorry. I don't have a TikTok. Yeah. I know what it is, though. Yeah. It's a Chinese spy device.
Yes. Yep. One last thing on the MVP award. Daniel Bard, closer for the Rockies, got a single 8th place vote. Someone in this universe who has a Baseball Writers Association vote for MVP was like, you know what the 8th best player in the National League is? Daniel Bard.
You have to fail twice in life to become a critic.
How many times do you have to fail to become a podcaster?
You just have to have a dream, Joey.
Oh, okay.
You just have to have a dream.
Okay. Jack Lemmon teach you that. Anyways, yeah, Manny, okay, I'm gonna. We never talked about this. Oh, have we talked about that? We're allowed to say Fernando Tatis Jr.'s name.
Yes.
Okay, we can say this now. How funny would it be if he's the best player in baseball next year? Are they would they give him will the people that didn't vote for Manny, would they vote for Tatis? Let's just say Tatis hits 50 home runs next year. And he has a 1.03 OPS and he just goes ham, which he can.
Yes, he can.
Would they vote for him?
Well, he finished second MVP last year, which also was a nonsense. Like again, the Padres fell apart. That's why he came in second. Right. Now, I would see them voting for him over
Machado.
Yeah, even if here's the thing, say Tatis does hit 50 home runs next year. Let's say Machado hits 40 and has a higher batting average and more RBIs and a higher OPS plus. They would still vote for Tatis over Machado.
I think you're right, but isn't that weird? Isn't that a weird thing that it's just weird to me. Whatever. Go get him next time, kid. And listen, Machado's doing fine in life. It'd be cool for his professional accolades to have, an MVP award. He's going to make $300 million in his lifetime. He lives in Coronado. He's doing fine.
Yeah. And I believe you did say something on the Twitter that was pretty funny.
On the Twitter?
On the Twitter? Isn't that what the youths are calling it these days?
The youths of the nation call it, yeah.
The Twitter?
Yeah.
The Tweety? That regardless, at the end of their careers, Manny Machado will have better stats than both of those guys.
Than Arenado and Goldie, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think he hits 3,000 hits and they don't.
Yeah.
I think now with MVP award, Goldschmidt probably is the closest to Hall of Fame amongst Arenado and Goldie. But yeah, I think Machado is going to have a better career. So, yeah, that's that. We're annoyed, but that's what's new about Padre fans to be annoyed about something.
Yeah. What? A Padre fan isn't a victim of injustice? Never heard of that before.
I just think it's it's amazing to me that the last MVP we had was 96, Caminetti. And obviously it is if you follow Padres baseball, but that was so long ago.
I know. It was very long ago.
But we'll get him next year.
Yep.
Lots of random things to talk about, James. Lots of little things.
Okay.
Suarez got signed, re-signed a 5-year, $46 million deal.
A lot of money, but you know what? We're looking to the future without, in 2 years, we won't have a hater, and maybe Suarez will be our closer.
Also, there's no relievers on the market, so
this is true.
And if they are, they're going to be expensive the year afterwards. So, locked him down. Happy for big game Robert Suarez. Happy to have him back. Nick Martinez signed a deal with us. 3 years, $26 million. Is that right?
$26 million. The thing is with Nick Martinez, his contract had a lot of back ends.
Yep.
So depending on how well he does, and if he can has less than a 3 ERA, basically if he hits all of the status points or achievement, he hits all the achievements. This contract says it could be upwards of a $48 million contract.
Good for him.
Good for him, and we needed him because. He'll probably be a starter the first of the year.
Yep.
He can move back into the bullpen. He was lights out in the bullpen. He was good for a solid 5 innings of pitching. Excellent signings for both of them.
I agree. That's all kind of the stuff right now, signings wise. We didn't do a custom episode for those two guys because we know those guys. And kind of expected those guys to come back anyway. But the fun side, we talked a little bit last episode about who you could potentially sign, and someone came up in the rumor mill that we didn't even talk about. A couple guys.
Okay.
John Heyman is reporting that Padres are in the mix in conversation with top shortstop free agents in baseball. Presumably Trea Turner, because we've been tied to him in the past, and Preller has been known to really like him. This comes as a shock to most people that we'd want to check in on like high, like really top ranked free agents, especially shortstops. But what is your thoughts about the Padres potentially going after a top free agent? And I think the report should have just called this out. I'm willing to say it's 100%, almost 90% certain it's Trea Turner they're talking about.
Yeah.
I doubt it's Correa, but I suspect we're checking on Trea Turner.
I have a feeling Carlos Correa is going to want to move to a team where he's the superstar. He just seems like that kind of an arrogant Astro
Wow.
that wants to be the top dog, the chief banana. You know what I'm saying?
The Chief Banana. Whoa. Jack Lemmon, Chief Banana. Woohoo, baby. You're on a roll, dude.
I am so
You young whippersnapper. You pull up in your Model T, I see.
I'm gonna go home and put on my tweed jacket and smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't think it's going to be Correa. Trea Turner, listen, he led all of shortstops last year in errors, but he's a decent athlete.
He's a very good athlete.
He led all the majors in stolen bases as well. Also, he had the fewest strikeouts of all major leaguers, and he had a over 300 batting average. That's kind of a bat you would always want. And honestly, if we sign him, he's a left fielder.
Yeah, he played center field for the Nationals. And, there's a reasonable case to be made by anyone that signs him, like, hey, buddy, you're not a good shortstop.
Yeah.
You're just not, you boot the ball too much. And then he's like, what about this Tatis kid? I'm like, hey, back off.
I really like the rumor of putting him at second base.
Of Tatis at second base?
At second base.
So I was going to bring it up. There's another snippet. Is that people internally in the Padres are thinking about, what if we put Tatis at second base? And you like it.
I do like it. A 6'3" super athlete shortstop at second base, banning the shift next year, he can leap up and steal some left-handed hitters, line drives. That's what I'm thinking.
I just had this horrible image of him throwing like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball from second base. It's like Jake Cronenworth, and Jake Cronenworth hitting the head and just dying, just like.
Yeah, but this thing, one of his biggest problems was his accuracy in his arm with a lot of his errors. It's a shorter throw. I think it's a win-win.
I think we should try to see if a different first baseman caught most of the balls he threw. How much better of a shortstop he could play.
Oh, yeah, if we had a first baseman that knew how to play first base.
Yeah.
The last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Trea Turner, you in or out on him? We should also caveat this is so we're bringing a lot into the discussion. We haven't told our audience, which is we've already spent money this offseason. So I think $15 million or $16 million in contract value to next year, right?
Yeah.
Kevin AC said supposedly the Padres only want to spend $25 million. If we're checking in on Trea Turner, we're not spending just $25.
Oh no, not at all.
Because Trea Turner is going to have $100 million plus contract.
He's going to be a 5-year, $125 million contract at the lower end.
Yeah.
He might be a 6-year, $200 million contract.
I could see something like a Marcus Semien deal, right? That's 225. I don't think I necessarily like that for the Padres, but I could see him getting that.
Yeah. It's interesting because there are still gaps in our. I mean, getting another shortstop, that definitely means Tatis or Trea Turner will go to the outfield.
Right.
No doubt about it. Getting a designated first baseman Because as of right now, it looks like opening day Jake Cronenworth is our starting first baseman.
Yeah.
And he plays a Gold Glove first base. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having 4 shortstop athletes in infield when we ban the shift. I'm okay with that. I still think we need a couple of power bats off the bench.
Yep. So are you in? I guess I'm asking: are you in or out on Trea Turner?
How can you say no to a guy that is that good? I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, he has a very punchable face, but I can learn not to want to fight the impulses of punching him, mainly because I've only ever seen his great athleticism beating the Padres.
I mean, him and Juan Soto are great friends.
They are great friends.
He said he would love to play with him again one day. Foreshadowing? Discount, I hear? Played for us for free, I hear? John Hamm narrated his free agent video. You know this? Did you see this?
I saw it, yes.
It was so weird, right? It was very weird. I've never seen a free agent video, hype video. I didn't know he needed one, to be honest, because if you're a baseball team, you know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not like, it's not like he's like, I just totally see Robert Suarez a year ago making a hype video, right? Totally. He's some guy from Japan. Like, he needs a hype. Everyone knows who Trea Turner is. You don't need John Hamm to tell me who Trea Turner is.
Everyone's been well aware of Trea Turner for the last 6 years.
So, look it up. John Hamm narrates a hype video for Trea Turner that his agents made to send around to all the teams in baseball.
So, John Hamm and Trea Turner's agent are really good friends.
Yeah.
Which means Trea Turner has met John Hamm and they've become good friends. Yeah. So they probably, hey, let's make a hype video. Sure. Don't get me wrong. It's a well-produced video.
Yeah, sure.
It just doesn't.
I didn't need it. I know he's fast.
I know he has the prettiest slide in all of baseball. It's one of those things.
But yeah, I'm in on him too. I wouldn't mind it. It's not my money. We've said that many times. Because if it was my money, well, I wouldn't own a sports team. I don't have that much money.
And if you did have that kind of money, would you buy a sports team?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And there's been now, we're recording this 12 minutes away from the tender deadline. So I wonder if we're going to see some tendering. So for those who aren't aware, there's a deadline for people to opt in, opt out of their contracts, and then there's a deadline for committing to people's contracts during arbitration that you want to take or not, non-tendering them. They're saying basically, and that deadline is in a couple minutes, in 12 minutes or so. And from there, there's some interesting names. You mentioned it, and there's a segue to that. You mentioned you still want some power off the bench, or some more power, more slug.
Yes.
There's potentials in what we believe to be non-tendered. A few interesting people in that list. Austin Meadows, Cody Bellinger's on the list as well. James gave me a very incredulous look. One that would make Jack Lemmon proud.
You know what? I'm reminded of a Jack Lemmon movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Called Glengarry Glen Ross.
Okay, Grandpa.
Glengarry Glen Ross came out in the early 90s, I have you know.
Yeah, I know. I have seen this movie too.
And he had quite a few incredulous looks. And let's face it, for all of you out there, again, children listening, wait until you're older and watch Glengarry Glen Ross. Yeah. Jack Lemmon, tour de force, easily one of the best acting performances of all time.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sure he loves Austin Meadows too.
I'm sure he does. No, he hates Cody Bellinger. If Jack Lemmon was still alive, he would hate Cody Bellinger.
So those are the two. I sent you a list of them. I'm pulling it up now. Thrilling audio for all.
Yeah, it was Austin Meadows.
Luke Voigt also. Hunter Renfroe. That's right, Hunter Renfroe. And Mitch Garver are all like powerish guys that could be off the bench for us. And those are all believed to be non-tender. There's more than that, but those are the guys that came off. I wouldn't mind. I said this before the podcast. I think we're going to buy low on somebody this offseason.
Yeah.
Whether via trade or via a signing. We've talked about Joey Gallo, but I think Cody Bellinger, Hunter Renfroe, or an Austin Meadows is very likely. I think righty power bats are probably the lowest priority because we still would like. We've been searching. We've mentioned it before in the podcast. We still need a lefty, someone off the bench. We just didn't have that all season.
We need a lefty power bench, off the bench, in the outfield, or on DH.
Yep.
And two lefty. If we were to get Meadows and Gallo, that would be quite a thing because we need some kind of a threat off the bench, and also the ability to put multiple left-handers up against a right-handed starter that doesn't do so well against lefties.
Yep. So which one of those names strike your fancy, young man?
As much as it pains me,
Yeah.
as much as it just makes me want to just to smack you, Joey Gallo,
Yeah. He's the most obvious choice.
because he's going to be so cheap.
Yeah.
And Austin Meadows, the problem with Austin Meadows is 1 year he'll hit 30 home runs, next year he'll be hurt.
Yeah.
1 year he'll hit 30 home runs. You look at his baseball reference every other year, and he played 3 games last year.
Yep.
So he's due for a 30 home run season. And again, at the very least, he's a competitive bat off the bench. Joey Gallo plays a phenomenal outfield. As much as I'd love to see Hunter Renfroe back in a Padres uniform, because I always thought he was a fun player to watch, and he's progressed a lot since he left the Padres. He's become a really good outfielder defensively as well. We don't need another power bat, a right-handed power bat.
No.
We just don't. And yes, he'll hit 30 home runs as well. But again, we don't. The Yankees had one left-handed hitter in their whole lineup. Everything else was right-handed power bats.
Right.
And that was one of their downfalls during the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, we have Juan Soto. And we have
Cronenworth.
Cronenworth and Trent Grisham.
Not really a power bat, but yeah.
He's not really a power bat. 20 home runs a year. If our new batting coach can fix Trent Grisham,
Trent Grisham in the postseason looked way different.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like Cody Bellinger because he can play outfield and first base. I don't like that
He eats babies.
Sorry?
He eats babies.
I don't like the eating baby part. Definitely not.
We know he does. He's clearly a serial killer.
I don't like the fact that like he was an MVP in every facet of his game one season. The next season just decided not to be. That scares me. And I know it's like he had 2 big injuries. He busted his shoulder and he busted his foot. And so he has never like literally found his footing.
Even in his MVP year, everyone kept on saying his rookie year and his MVP year, he has massive holes in his swing.
Yep.
All of his power comes from low and inside. You pitch anything high and away, he cannot hit it.
Yep.
But he'll swing at it, but he cannot hit it. And that's just it. The league learned to pitch to him. He is not smart enough. He's too much time killing people, I guess.
I don't know where his agenda came from, if he's a serial killer, but
He's a Dodger, Joey.
yeah, I know.
If you're a Dodger for more than 4 years, I think you should automatically be on the FBI's top wanted list, our suspect list.
Yeah.
Like The Usual Suspect, not a Jack Lemmon movie. Just like round them up every time there's some sort of killing in LA. You bring in all the Dodger players, check their fingers for blood.
Did Usual Suspects come out? Which is newer, Usual Suspects or Glengarry Glen Ross?
Usual Suspects.
Not by much, though.
Usual Suspects was mid-90s. Glengarry Glen Ross was early 90s. If not 89.
Yeah, you just know how to connect with the children. The kids love your movie references. They love them. Yeah, I think we're gonna buy low on one of those guys. Some lefty outfield reclamation project. Excuse me. I think we have to. I don't think we're gonna just break the bank for 3 players.
I don't either.
And maybe a trade's in order. Maybe we go after. I mean, for pity's sakes, the Mariners and the Diamondbacks have like way too many outfielders now.
Yes, they do.
It's like, what are you doing with all the outfielders, dude? You only 3 of them can play at a time. You know that, right? Like, it's not cricket.
I don't even know how many people are supposed to be on the field doing cricket.
It's up to the population of the nation. All of India plays cricket at once.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, that's how little I know about cricket. I just assumed. I've watched one cricket game once.
Yeah.
At a park, and it was
It's a pretty fun game.
Did you know there was a North County cricket championship every year?
I did not, but I do now.
Yeah. I was at a park and I saw this little banner and a bunch of people just were playing this game, and I was like, this looks lame, and I left.
Wow. I know people come to our Padres podcast for Padres conversation, but truly people stick around for the very old movie references and cricket conversations. So,
you know what, Joey? I realize, me going to film school has amounted to very little in my life. But you know what? I still know a lot about movies.
We're going to buy low on one of those guys.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be the way it is. And I'm excited to see. So we're still waiting. We'll probably, honestly, one of these guys will probably happen a week before the season starts.
The one thing that I did like, Nick Martinez released a statement saying how he was a teammate of Senga, the Japanese phenom pitcher, and he can't wait to play with him in the big leagues. So maybe we're closer to signing him than we know.
I think he's like if I'm the Padres brain trust, like that's the guy I'm going after the hardest. Because no qualifying offer attached to him. He loves Darvish. He played with Suarez and Martinez. Like, that just seems like a good fit. And you try to rebuild the 6-man rotation again. You try to get another controllable starter.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you maintain the health of the rotation again. Yeah. But Senga, I would just say, it should be the prime target. And lastly, James, a little bit of collusion news. We love collusion on the podcast.
Conspiracies and collusions.
Yeah. Only because I thought it was funny, and you thought it was funny too. So this is not Padre related. But the New York Mets and New York Yankees are
because the Padres do everything above board.
Yeah, do not look at AJ Preller being suspended. Do not Google that. It never happened.
Never happened, everybody. Well, we do everything above board because of that.
They're being investigated for collusion, James. And supposedly, the New York Mets and the New York Yankees have made public statements basically saying, well, we won't outbid one another. And assuming like players are saying, oh, so they've set a price. We're like, they will not outbid each other, so they're keeping Aaron Judge's price low. Yeah. What are your thoughts about collusion of this matter?
Well, considering it happened in New York, and as everyone knows, that's an evil city.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's where also, so happens, most of the sports writers live.
Wow. There
Correlation, causation, you be the side. You be the judge. Anyways, and also, a lot of critics live in New York. Mm-hmm. So the whole city is run on failure.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay. And so the big deal is those two teams are supposed to be the biggest bidders on Judge and DeGrom. And apparently they've had some sort of deal that we won't overbid you for DeGrom if you don't overbid us for Judge. And so we can get them maybe not at an affordable rate, but at a lower rate than they should have, which says to me, neither one should get it.
How funny would it be if it was like that? If it is that serious, where like there's emails between House Steinbrenner and Cohen, like, "Hey, don't bid for this guy. I'm gonna do this guy. What are you bidding for him?" Like, if it's that way, and then Manfred's like, "Guess what? Neither one of you get him." And then the Blue Jays get Judge. How funny would that be? And DeGrom ends up in the Orioles. It'd be very funny.
That'd be so funny. No, it'd have to be. It would have to be something like the Phillies would get DeGrom and the Blue Jays would get Judge.
Yeah.
Just so they'd still be in the same division to needle.
That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny.
I don't know, man. Like, just don't collude. Just let it rip, dude. Steinbrenner and Steve Cohen, I know you listen to this podcast. I don't know why you do, but I know you listen to it.
We appreciate the emails, the gift cards, and last year's edible arrangement for Christmas you sent us.
Yeah.
Was beautiful and tasty.
You don't need any more money, dude.
No.
Look at all that money you got. Steve Cohen, you literally run like dark pools of money. Like you're the guy that like has all the money. You don't. Hal Steinbrenner, you've owned the Yankees for 1,000 years. Your family has.
And it's so surprising such upstanding, stalwart gentlemen, pillars of the community would be corrupt and crooked. I mean, it's so unbelievable.
Just let Judge take $100 million a year from you for 10 years. Give him the first $1 billion contract.
Yeah.
Steve Cohen, do the same for DeGrom. Let it rip, dude. Just let it rip. Because colluding just isn't right. You know, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say let it rip. Let's have some fun. Give them both $1 billion contracts and let's see what happens.
The funny thing is about this, if this comes out to be true,
yeah,
and the both teams conspired to rip off their players for more money. If I was either one of those players, I'm not playing in New York.
Yeah. Why would you want to play there?
Yeah. Like I said, Aaron Judge, you go sign whatever money Colorado wants to give you.
Oh my gosh.
And you just hit 90 home runs next year.
How much fun would that be?
Again, I said I would go see a Colorado Rockies game in Colorado, and the Padres wouldn't have to be playing. Yeah. Actually, it'd probably be better for my psyche if the Padres were playing, just to watch him hit home runs.
So much fun. It'd be so much fun. And DeGrom, just go to someplace. I don't know. Go. Imagine him signing a deal with the Marlins.
Oh,
dude, no. Like, how many 1-0 losses will the Marlins have? Right. Insane, but it'd be fun to watch Alcantara and DeGrom pitch all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, James. Lots of little things this episode. Lots of little things. We learned a lot about each other.
We did.
We learned that you like old movies. I knew that already.
I don't understand.
You learned that. What's funny about this bit is like normally it's my bit where I do outdated references to things. But this time it was your bit.
I think we both make outdated references quite a bit, especially when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my fault Hollywood hasn't made a good movie in 20 years.
Excuse me?
Okay.
I can name two.
I'll take it back.
Yeah.
Pig was an outstanding movie, and the two Paddington movies are outstanding as well.
Yeah.
That's it. Pig and the Paddington Bear movies. That's the only good movies they've made. Since
Moneyball came out in 2011.
Okay. 10 years. 10 years. Since Moneyball, they've made 3 good movies. The Paddington movies and Pig.
If you want to appeal to James's heart, don't put the Padres in films. Put small, adorable animals. and you'll be heralded by him.
Hey, you know what? When they make that Manny Machado movie in 10 years where he has to battle all the adversity of all of these, bigoted, East Coast writers, I think that would be a great movie. Get Aaron Sorkin on the phone right now. Have him write the script.
Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you for your continued listenership. Until next time, James, go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!